This video is giving you a synopsis and more clarity on the primary chemicals that operate us as a human being that are necessary for survival. So again, I'm getting these videos out as fast as I can because of the urgency for this information. It saved my life, and I know it's going to save lives. And so there might be some lack of clarity or mistakes, and please bring to my awareness. So this morning I was also sharing, and again, the more that I share, the clearer I get, and the better I am at delivering the knowledge to you. So I will do some repeat videos and synopsis of things that we've already discussed. It doesn't negate the other videos that I've done. And if there is a scientific mistake, I will clarify that so you know. So this is so important. And I was having a conversation with another friend this morning. I'm so excited, as you can imagine, to just share this information with as many people as I can. And I am getting just even more insight. And so I was explaining to my friend about what happens in the brain and why we become addicted. So let's start with dopamine. So in my other video, I state that when we are drinking alcohol, it is a substance, it is a drug. It falsely increases dopamine. Dopamine is the pleasure chemical. It is also the reward chemical. So our brain, for survival, starts to relate what it is the action we're doing when we get dopamine, and we remember that in our neurological pathway. So an example is, and I think I mentioned this about the cavemen, so to speak, going to hunt for berries. And so he's hunting for berries. Now, it's a lot of work to hunt for animals, to kill them. We don't have to do that today. We just go to the grocery store and get our fruits and vegetables, unless you're growing your own, which is very common here in the south of Chile. And so we don't have to hunt anymore. But this is so ingrained in our physiology. So he finds the berry tree as he's walking through the forest or the land, and there is a tree. He sees berries. He picks the berries. What happens? He gets a spike of dopamine because it is the reward. It is the pleasure. He's excited. It's for survival because it also gives us motivation. And it has him going out again through the wilderness, through the weather, through the saber-toothed tiger to find the freaking berry, right? So it's motivation for our survival. It's necessary. Dopamine is not bad. It's not bad. It's just falsely increased because we are tricking our brain with the drug called alcohol. So now as dopamine goes up, now dopamine is not sustainable. So it goes down back to baseline. So my friend is a spear fisherman. This is so exciting. And my brother-in-law is an avid fisherman. And he's always trying to get my sister to go fishing with him. And she's like, no, they get up at 4:00 in the morning. They go out no matter what really the weather is. Now, this is on the west coast of Florida, Ala Capri, Marco Island, Naples area, just so it gives you a little reference of where I grew up and where my family still resides. So he's always trying to get us all to go fishing. And it's like, sometimes we go, we're there. One more cast. We're like, what in the world? Come on, let's go already. And what is so fascinating that my friend brought in about spearfishing, he goes, oh my gosh, this is like spearfishing in the water. He's like, I'm in the water, you see a fish, you spear it, you get a rush. I'm like, exactly like that. So what is so fascinating, and the same thing with my brother-in-law, let's throw another one, get more dopamine, because we're seeking for that dopamine. So remember, though, when it's falsely increased and the dopamine starts going down because of alcohol, our brain is like, have another drink because I need more dopamine. What is so fascinating, too, about the hunter, about the fisherman, is that subconsciously your brain is registering the terrain in the water, the reefs that you found fish, why a lot of fishermen go back to the same spots, even keep it secretive because they don't want other people to go there and get the fish. So your brain remembers, where did I get the berry? Where did I spear this fish? And our environment, the temperature, what time of year perhaps it is, what does the soil feel like when I'm walking? What other plants are around? Is there water? All this stuff our brain subconsciously remembers for survival. So the next time you go spearfishing, the next time you go hunting for berries, your brain subconsciously is remembering these things that we consciously don't even have to remember. So related to alcohol, our brain remembers subconsciously. We walk into an event, we go right to the bar to get a drink because it's what we do unconsciously. And that's why in This Naked Mind, the authors say a maybe is a yes. Make up your mind. If you are drinking, be aware, be conscious, and make up your mind because a maybe is a yes. And that kind of resonated with me, but not so much. And then I remembered what I learned at the phenomenological ontological course, because we study a lot of the brain, that your brain scientifically, we know, has already made a decision 7 to 10 seconds before you're consciously aware of that decision. It's instinctually, the subconscious mind is instinctual. So for a lot of us, we instinctually reach for another drink, not only because the dopamine is down and we want more dopamine, we want the reward, we want the pleasure, but we also have in our subconscious that that's what we do when we walk into a wedding, when we go to a concert, a sporting outing. It's what we do after work when we're stressed. So this is subconsciously, and it all becomes instinctual, and it's even more instinctual when it becomes repetitive because we are at chemical warfare, because now the dopamine goes down. It's baseline in normal dopamine instances. It's a baseline because our body is always reaching homeostasis. It falsely goes up. Dynorphin, which is the opposite of pleasure chemical, comes in to counteract the dopamine. And so dopamine at high levels is associated with more aggression, instinct. Dynorphin is the opposite. And so now dopamine goes down below baseline. Dynorphin is flooded, so we have another drink to get back up, but we never get back up to where we once were. Why they always say the first drink, oh my God, it's such relief. Yes, it is. The second one isn't as much because you're never going to get back up to what it was. Now you keep drinking like I did for long enough, heavy enough, you get completely out of whack. And now, if you remember from the other chemical video, that dopamine decreases serotonin. Dopamine is instinctual, impulsive. Serotonin not only helps with sleep, that'll be another video. It's a whole nother animal in of itself, so exciting. But high levels of dopamine decrease serotonin, which is the anti-impulsive chemical, also made for survival. And serotonin, I did say in the other video, I don't have it, hang on, pulled up. So serotonin is also what we get in a feeling of pride when others like us, when we have respect, when we have approval. Now think about after a night of drinking and you make a fool of yourself. That decreases your serotonin and in fact increases your survival hormones to protect yourself because we're social beings. And so not only do we have this chemical directed by an addictive substance, we also have what's naturally going on with us. So instead of last night looking like, oh my God, I made a new friend, we had such a connection on whatever topic it is. And I know a lot about this topic. And so they were like, this is so fascinating. Can we talk more? I have a new friend. And so we get serotonin. Now, dopamine decreases that natural serotonin. It's so crazy. It also boosts our confidence. I know when I was drinking a lot, my confidence was nothing, and over time worse and worse. And so what are we doing? We are allowing ourselves to be in situations that we wouldn't otherwise be in, that are very unhealthy for us, relationships, so on and so forth. And so we have this chemical warfare going in with dopamine, with dynorphin, serotonin, and also oxytocin is also for survival. But serotonin and oxytocin are sustainable. Oxytocin is what we get in the tribe. It's what we get when we are loved, when we love someone else, when we get a hug. So not everybody that drinks, but I was the type of drinker, when I drank heavy, I isolated. So now I'm also depleting myself of oxytocin. And do people really want to be with somebody that is a drunk? No, it's not fun. It's scary. And so you can see how this all is so intricate in our chemistry that is going on. And also long-term, or not even long-term, even one bout of drinking increases your endorphins, which are also increased with fight or flight and cortisol. Too much cortisol and adrenaline in the system over time causes increase in disease. Directly, you can Google this. It's all there. I'm just correlating it for you so you can do what I did. And aha, I knew this. I just never related it to alcohol. So we are, again, a chemical warfare. The only way to get back in homeostasis is not like I did, have another drink. We never can do it with alcohol, but my brain thought that it was because it's for survival. It literally thinks that alcohol is what you need chemically for survival. Remember, those neural pathways are there. That's what I do when I'm stressed. Oh, I made a fool of myself. I'm embarrassed. All these things. You know what? Let me have another drink. A, I'll feel better. And B, I won't be as stressed. Yes, because remember, it's an anesthetic. It numbs your feelings and your emotions, but not just those bad feelings and emotions. It numbs all feelings and emotions. So over time, like me, nothing was pleasurable. Why? You gave up your family, or they lost their children, their job. We don't want to do these things. It's psychosis. What, the insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, but we don't know any different. Our brain doesn't have the knowledge. Now you are gaining and getting the knowledge. The neurological pathways are changing. You can never look at alcohol the same again. Thank God, this is exciting because it's liberating. It's freedom.